Hey everybody, welcome to part 1.2 of the summer intensive. So our second call of week one. Our first call we really spent getting to know each other and finding out your specific needs. And I'm so pumped for tonight. It's going to be jam-packed. So get out a piece of paper, get out a pen. We're going to jump right in. We have two things we're covering. The first thing is I heard a lot of people on the call last time giving just feedback of some things that they feel need resolved pretty quickly. And one of them that I kept hearing over and over again was trying to find ways to use your time wisely, to be able to take the small amount of time that you have to give doTERRA every day and use it to the best of your ability and get the most bang for your buck. So what I'm about to teach you is probably going to take you about an hour to 2 hours of your day. So if you don't have that time to give and you have maybe some other times on different days, then maybe some days you can give it more time than you can others, and you can basically set up your schedule the way that you choose, which is so awesome, which is why I love doing doTERRA, which I said a lot last time about why I love being able to just organize my life and my day and my schedule based on how I want to do it. And so what I'm going to teach you right now, I call the eightfold system, but the person who created it calls it E4, which I don't know why she calls it E4 because there's really 8 columns, but maybe she folds it in 4 and then figures out a way to have 8 squares. I'm not sure. But the original creator is Emily Pfeiffer. She's a spirit animal of mine in doTERRA. She's one of our cross-line Blue Diamond leaders and someone I've looked up to since the beginning of building my business. I love looking at her YouTube videos, her just like different educational things that she puts out there on social media. And the stars aligned, and this year I finally got to meet her in person. It was everything and more. Like, if you can imagine meeting your spirit animal in doTERRA and what that would feel like. It was just her and I for a solid 20 minutes, and we had the best conversation. And a week later to the day, she was 30 minutes from my house near DC and invited me to come to a workshop. And I spent 12 hours with her in a room with 6 people. And it was an out-of-body experience. She had me in front of everybody teach her E4, or what I call the eightfold system, to all of these new leaders of hers. Oh my gosh, you guys. I felt like I was singing a Beyonce song, like in front of Beyonce. That's what it made me feel like, was like, okay, I'll do this. And then I was super giddy. And at the end, I was like, did it even make sense? Because I was kind of nervous. So I'm going to kind of present this to you the way that I best understand it. And I hope that it makes sense to you. If you've seen this before, great. Just kind of jot down some things that maybe refresh your mind on this. But if you haven't heard of this, this is basically taking any piece of paper. So this is like a notebook, so I'll just take a piece out so you can see. It's like a piece of paper, a blank page, and you're going to fold it so that it has 8 columns. Okay, can you do that now if you have a piece of paper? Once you have that 8 skinny columns written down, on the first column at the top, I want you to write the word connect. I'll give you just a minute to finish folding. And then you're going to write down the word connect at the top of the first column. Okay, now this is a running system that you can do every single day when you wake up or when you have time in the day that you set aside for doTERRA. This is a really simple way to stay within the pipes, to get your business going, but to also make it applicable and doable. So this first column, in the connect column, is, does everyone have their eightfold? Here, show it to me real quick. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can always redo it later. Yes, Grace, perfect. Kate, show that again, Grace. Grace is the example. Yep, love it. Kate, perfect. It's kind of like hamburger style, or is it hot dog? I don't know. It's one of those. 8 folds across. Perfect. And then write the word connect at the top of the first column. Okay, so what does this mean? This column is dedicated solely for people that you would like to connect with in your life that you haven't talked to in a while, but you're not talking anything about doTERRA. So the word doTERRA doesn't even come up, nor the word essential oils, unless it's from their mouth. And they're like, hey, I saw you online. You've been sharing about doTERRA. Then you can talk about it. But if it's from you, you're going to stay totally mute on that topic. And you're going to put 2 people. I know my list looks kind of intimidating, but right now I don't want you to even focus on how many people are on my list. I want you to focus on your list, okay? So that connect column is at least 2 people per day. I try to hit 5, but I'm doing doTERRA as a full-time business. So it depends, once again, on how much time you have to give to your business. But just remember, 2 is a minimum, okay? So 2 in each column every day. So 2 people that you would connect with, whether it's from your childhood, whether it's someone from the gym that you haven't seen in a while, but just someone you've been thinking about that you genuinely want to build a friendship with or check in with or see how they're doing. I don't ever want this to come from a place of inauthenticity, right? We want it to always feel really authentic and true to ourselves. So we go into this relationship and to this connection with the intention of creating a bond and a friendship and a relationship of trust, okay? We're not going into it intentionally thinking about their pocketbook. We're not going into it intentionally thinking, I can't wait to enroll them with the Home Essentials Kit, okay? This is specifically to chime in with people that God or the universe, however you want to call it, has designed to be in your life. And so now it's kind of your decision to cultivate those relationships and to be there for that person, okay? This is, once again, I'm sure you've heard this over and over again, a relationships business, okay? This is what it's all about. So that first column, we're only connecting with people. Okay, jumping to column 2, write down the word sample at the top. We're going to focus a lot of our time on this column today. Once we're finished with the rest of these, I'm going to go to the second part, which will take up most of the call, on the best ways to sample and the best ways to invite, okay? So this sample column, you're going to write at least 2 names here per day. Not necessarily that you have to sample 2 people every day. It's you're thinking of 2 people that could potentially be a good person to sample to, okay? So what I mean by this is you have had people over for dinner and you notice that one of your friends was complaining the whole time about not getting enough sleep and she's tired all the time, okay? You're going to write that person's name down on your sample list because you're going to find a way to organically share the oils with her. And once again, we'll go through that later, how to do that, but you're going to find a way to organically be able to share the oils with her. And so you're going to plop her under this column. Or you were at a school function for your child. And while you were there, one of the kids that always plays with your child had some sort of issue, whether it was a skin issue or something, okay? And so you're focused on, okay, how am I going to get that parent to try this product? Okay, so you're going to put that parent's name there, or Johnny's mom if you don't know the parent's name. Okay, we're manifesting, we're writing it down, and this is really, really important. Okay, so then the next column is invite. The invite column is intended for people who have already been sampled. Okay, this is at least 2 people in this column that you're going to write down their name, and you're going to focus on how you can reconnect with them after they've been sampled to invite them to either 1, a formal class, 2, a one-on-one, or 3, some sort of doTERRA event, whether it's your make and take or a doTERRA product training or a wellness consult, or wellness summit, or any sort of doTERRA event, okay? So you're gonna invite them to learn more about the oils. That's 2 people. The next column is the enroll column. Okay, so write the word enroll at the top. And this is where you're going to think of at least 2 people every day that you have had come to a class, that they have had a one-on-one, that they have been exposed to the oils, and they are ready to be enrolled. So you're going to get them to the place where they're ready for it. They're excited. They have been to a class. They have been using the sample you've given them, and now it's time to enroll them. Okay, these are people who have come to your class, but they didn't enroll at the class. Okay, they didn't enroll while they were at the class. They had to go home and think about it. They had to go home and talk to their husband about finances. Whatever it is, they somehow left your presence without enrolling. So how do you get them from learning about the oils to enrolling with the oils? Okay, this is really important. Write this down. The thing that they need in order to enroll is an oil experience. Okay, so you're going to find their pain points. Finding someone's pain point isn't that hard. We're going to talk about it at the second portion of our call today, but I just want you to focus more on the people that did not enroll at the class. How do we get them to enroll? I want you to write 2 people's names down that have not enrolled yet. Okay, that's what this column is designated for. The next column is everybody you've enrolled that you need to put on a wellness consult. They've got to get on the list to get more education, to maximize their membership, and more importantly, to get connected into the community, right? So wellness consults is everybody who's been enrolled but has not formally had a membership overview. Okay, so write that wellness consult word at the top of the 5th column. The next column, I want you to write the word host at the top. Okay, host is any product user that you have in your downline that is on an LRP. Okay, write that down. Any product user on your entire team who is on an LRP is eligible to be a host, in my opinion. Surely there are people that are not on LRP, or there are people that just love you and don't even buy oils yet, but they would love to host a class because you're family or your friends. But more importantly, let's focus on people who are using the product so that when they sit there in your class at their house, they have people over, they can share their own personal experience. And it's not just coming from this person that they don't know who's come to teach the class, but it's coming from the person that's actually invited them to the class that has a testimony of the oils and an experience to share. Okay, so the host column is anybody on LRP that's a committed user. And how hard would it be to host a class if they knew they were getting that 20% fast start and they're getting a free diffuser or whatever host gift you have to offer? Okay, so many people are willing to host when they know what the reward or the possible what's in it for them is going to be. Okay, now the 7th column at the top, I want you to write the word build. This column is intended for people who are not only on LRP and using the product, but that you personally jive with, that their energy matches your energy. And together you would just be like this power couple, this power partnership. So I'll say that again. The people that go in the build column, we'll try to put 2 there each day, okay, are people in your life or people who are already product users that you jive with and that your energy matches one another's energy. Not to say that they're the same kind of person, like they have the same hobbies, they have the same, personality traits, the same strengths, the same clothes, the same foods they like. I'm not talking about that. Okay, we don't want to build with someone that's exactly like us because there probably isn't anybody out there like that, right? You're looking more for people that you jive with their energy, which is you get along really well, you have similar interests, but they're not identical, and she has her own opinion about things, but she's driven, she's motivated, or he's driven, he's motivated. Okay, they're a business owner, an entrepreneur, someone in the middle or upper class that's just really excited about life and doesn't necessarily need the money that first year, because you all know that first year the compensation doesn't seem like very much and you're putting in a lot of effort. But remember that it requires work to have success. So if you can find someone who is already motivated and driven and their energy matches yours, they're the kind of people you want to write on this column. Okay, and the last column is the support column. This is my favorite one. This is where you're going to write down at least 2 people's names every day that are already doing the business with you, that partner with you, that lead with you, and you're going to reach out to them. You're going to acknowledge them. Now, I'll say this. Voxer is awesome because I have a Voxer with every single person on my team that's building the business, but I also have my own team Voxer. And that team Voxer is great because we can lean on one another, we can get ideas from one another. We also have a team Facebook page for just builders and shares. But I love that that's a place we can support each other daily. However, I make it a point to reach out to people on my team as often as I possibly can that are doing the business with me. So whether that's 3, 4, 5 times a week, right? It's not just 2 people a day, in my opinion, because surely there's going to feel like someone out there who's feeling alone, like they're doing it all on their own. I felt like that. I don't know about you, but the first year I was building my business before I met anyone in doTERRA, like personally, before I even met Jenna, I think I was doing the business like 9 months or something before I met Jenna. And then I didn't meet everybody else until convention. So what I'm saying is it can feel really lonely at times. And it can feel like you're in this cycle and you're trying to get stuff done and, you're feeling like nothing's happening and you're doing it all alone. And so by having someone like a mentor or a cross-line, somebody reach out to you, it can be so invigorating for you, for your spirit, and for your business. Okay? Questions about the eightfold system. Oh, let me say one last thing about it before I ask if you have questions. Why you're writing these names down is because you have the intention to reach out to them. People get really freaked out by the word texting blitz. So we're not calling it a texting blitz, but we are calling this a texting mass connection, if you will, right? You're connecting with this large number of people every day. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, what's that? 16. So 16 people at least every day that you're in a text conversation with. I can't even tell you how many text messages I have on my phone each day. My husband is so embarrassed by it. He's like, I know I texted you today. Let me see how far down that was because you obviously didn't read my text. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, right? Because, you guys know texting is the best way to get really connected with people right away, more so than talking on the phone, more so than email. And so this eightfold system is really intended for you to not just write their name down, but to then also contact them. This becomes your schedule for the day. This becomes your roadmap for success for every day. Now, does that mean that I beat myself up if I don't get to all 16 names? No. What it does mean, though, is that the next day, I can realize, okay, I can scratch these names out and move them to the next column. I've sampled Catalina, great. I've invited her, great. It's time to enroll her. She's been to a class, she hasn't yet enrolled, so now she's in my enroll column. Does this make sense? Are we kind of understanding how this functions? Almost like a perfectly fine-tuned, what's the idiom? I always get idioms wrong. I'm Italian. I say the strangest things. What's the word? Perfectly oiled, I don't know, machine. We'll just say that. Okay, unmute yourself and tell me what questions you have about the eightfold system.
I have a question about, so you've sampled them, you give them a couple days to touch base with them, see how their experience was. And then once you invite them, so you either invite them to a class or a one-on-one, how often is it that you go back? Like I can see your list. So say you invite Julie to a class, she doesn't get back to you or doesn't commit to anything. Do you give them a week? Do you give them a couple days? Like how do you kind of have like a set time when you go back to those people?
So I appreciate that question. And I will say we are going to expound more on sampling and inviting in just a minute. But just to answer this real quickly, because I want to make sure that I'm thorough, is that when I sample and when I invite, I am like laying out a roadmap for them. I'm saying, I'm calling you in 24 hours. I'm texting you in 24 hours, right? Okay. They know, because I've already said to them how I set up the sampling, that they're going to receive some sort of follow-up from me. So let's jump into that. Does anyone else have any questions before we get on to sampling and inviting? Grace is good. Jessica, I don't see you. Rachel, are you good?
Yeah, I was going to ask something about enrolling, but I'm sure
yes.
You're going to.
No, go ahead, because we're not talking about enrolling this week.
Oh, well, so what do you do? I mean, do you just text them and just say like, oh, this is the promotion, or do you want to enroll? Like, do you have a thing that you actually say?
Good question. Okay, so when they're in that column, meaning they haven't enrolled at a class, they didn't enroll at a one-on-one, the reason they're in this column is because they need another oil experience. So you're going to go back to the sampling game and you're going to put your total transparency out there and say, hey, just like foods, essential oils work differently on different people. right? I have a food sensitivity to dairy. You have a food sensitivity to gluten. So essential oils are just like that. So some people think lavender is very uplifting. Other people think it's really calming. So what I want you to know by that is that because essential oils work so differently on everybody, that there is going to be one that we will find that will work properly for your body, that will support you in the way you're looking for. Okay, so just laying it out there for them, being transparent, being open, and ensuring that they get another oil experience. That's all they need. If they haven't enrolled, it's not because of money. Let me just lay that out there real quick. The poorest of poor, if it's working for them, they will find the money, because that was me. My husband was in law school. We were poor. I was looking for change underneath the cushions of the couch. Like, I made a way. Every time there was like an event my mom would send money for, like, I don't know, birthdays and stuff like that for myself, not my kids, but for me, I would save that into my little fund of like being able to buy a kit. Okay, so don't sell someone short and think, oh, they can't afford it. Because guess what? Everybody can. That's just an excuse. The only reason people say that is because they haven't seen the value yet of the oils, and they haven't had a strong enough experience to make them see the value. Does that make sense?
You just wait for them then to come to you after the second experience or whatever is like the winning experience, and just wait for them to come to you to say, okay, I'm ready? Or do you just outright say, okay, are you ready? Here's a kit.
No. So that's a good question. I don't wait for anybody to come to me, because just like the car lot, when you leave the car lot when you're buying a car, you're not going to go back and you don't care to buy that car anymore until you start seeing it everywhere, right? Until you start seeing that white van all over the place. You're like, okay, fine, I need that car. Okay. But most people will not go back to you until it's their time of need. And some people, that is that way. I mean, surely there have been people that I've had to let go of, just because I do have a system where, you know, I follow up after a couple days. Great, it worked, didn't, yada, yada, follow up after a couple days. And, you know, there are some people that just don't get back. And so I have had to let those people go, and they still get my monthly emails. And sure enough, like a year or 2 years later, they come back and they enroll. But most of the time, when I am consistent, and because the oils sell themselves, right? I am consistent, I am showing them a need for them. They see that they fulfill that need and they provide a solution, they're going to enroll. Did that answer your question?
Yes, mostly. But so do you like actually text them? Like, here's the order link, here's the directions.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have like on the notes section on my phone, I have pre-typed out templates of all these kinds of questions. And I make sure that and here's the thing is that I will individualize it too. So if it's like for a mom of boys, or if it's for a dad, like I make sure to switch it up a little bit and make it really apply to them. But I have it with my link in there, and I love the labs.doterra.com now, because that link generator is so great. It just connects them right to where they need to go. They don't have to click on join and save anymore. That whole business is gone. So it makes it really easy. Yes, absolutely. I lay it out there for them. And I say, by the way, I never offer promotions. Never. Because doTERRA is awesome. They don't need a promotion. Yeah. If it's the end of the month and I'm pushing for rank, sure, I might do like a $20 cash back or something. But the truth of the matter is, you do not need incentives to sell a kit. All you have to say is share the value of the product. The membership gets you 3 things. It gets you 25% off for a year. Part 2 of this awesome class, which is a one-on-one wellness consult, and access to my private community where I educate and provide endless support. Okay, once they see the value of a membership, they're going to go, okay, that's only $35. I can afford that. And then you go, but you could actually get oils in a kit and save a whole ton of money and not even have to pay that $35. That membership is free. And they go, what? Right? They're all excited now. Is that clear?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Sorry, that took more than I was thinking about for the call. So now this next part, I'm going to talk kind of fast. Are you guys okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to click stop share and then find this other screen here. Sampling and inviting. I know it's like not the fanciest topic, this whole sampling and inviting thing, but it is so, so important. Okay, let me move this over here. Do you see my Canva?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so the key to sampling and inviting is using the Empowered Success guides. This one right here is perfect. Write it down if you don't have it. Healthy Can Be Simple from doTERRA. It's in your back office. It's number 1 of the Empowered Success series. Okay, there's 5 of them. There's Healthy Can Be Simple. Does anyone know what's next? Number 2?
The natural solutions.
Yes, the Natural Solutions class handout. Exactly. Number 3 is
Live.
the Live Guide. That's going to be our guide to the Wellness Consult. Number 4,
Share.
the Share Guide. Share is going to help those hosts. And number 5?
Build.
Yeah. Okay, so all 5 of those we're going to cover in the next 5 weeks. Tonight we're doing the first one, sampling and inviting. And the reason why I love this little handout here, this, how many page guide is this? 23-page little booklet that is well worth the money. It first goes over very, very simply what essential oils are, the 3 ways to use them, and why doTERRA. Okay? Super simple. And then here's what's awesome, is that each page that's in here covers a system. Remember, when we're focused on pain points, we're focused on systems. So it's got digestive, healthy and exercise, self-care and sleep. Oh, those are big, right? Green cleaning and immune support, releasing tension, cellular support, feeling great, women's health. Okay, now if you're familiar with the wellness lifestyle pyramid that's in the Live Guide, you'll recognize that every single thing that's in these Empowered Success guides leads them to this lifestyle pyramid. I actually don't call it a pyramid because I feel like it's a trigger word, but you can do whatever you want. I call it the Wellness Lifestyle Ladder or the Wellness Lifestyle Guide, okay? And it does look like a pyramid, but whatever. I just think it's a bad choice of words, but it's probably a limiting belief of my own, and I could admit that. That's fine. That aside, each one of the supports in here, each one of the systems that it's supporting directly correlates with one of those wellness lifestyle guides on the ladder. Okay, perfect. Let's get to sampling and inviting. This would be the perfect thing to give with the sample. So how do we get to this point? First and foremost, numero uno, 2 tips when sampling. Just write any of this down that you'd like. But I really want to focus on where you're at when you're coming to someone with the idea of sampling them. You got to live in your diamond energy. Okay? You got to be in it. You got to live in it. You got to embrace it. I am diamond. I am her. I am him. We are embracing the energy of someone who we are meant to be because you're already that person. You're already a presidential diamond. It's just that the pieces of life haven't come together yet. The puzzle is being made. And so by living in that energy of someone who is positive, who people want to be around, and who brings joy and happiness into people's lives, that's where you need to come from. Okay, if you're sitting next to someone in an Uber, on a plane, at a baseball game, at your kids' games, okay, they're not going to talk to you if you're just sitting there looking at your phone. But if you look like a nice gal, you know, you're cheering on your kid or you're cheering on your team or you're having good conversations with people, most likely they're going to strike up a conversation with you too. So by living in your diamond energy, even when you're on and off the field, it's going to bring you success, okay? What I mean by on and off the field is clearly we're in our diamond energy when we're teaching a class and when we're at a one-on-one. But when we're not, are we still living in that space of being awesome and embracing who we are and our business and our potential? Or are we just kind of meandering through life and thinking to ourselves, nobody in this room even knows what I do. Nobody would care anyways. And what I do isn't really that interesting. And I don't have anything good to offer to anybody. And I just teach about essential oils and it's really silly and people don't care. Like there's all these things we can say to ourselves when we walk into a room or when we sit next to someone that can really degrade who we are and can eat at who we are. And so, I want you to really focus on finding that diamond energy and living in that space. Okay, that's number 1. I feel like last time when we talked on the phone, I tried to like hone that in and try to get you to see the good in you and like harness the power of who you are and the excitement of what you do, because that's the first thing. Like if you don't have belief, then you're not going to go very far, right? 99.9% of what I do every day is based on my belief in me and my business. It's the same for you. Okay, I would say at least 90%. 10% is the work, like 90% is the belief that you can do it. So that's the first tip I have for you. The second tip I have when sampling is to find the pain point and solve it. Underline, bold, italicized. This is a circle one, right? You got to find the pain point and you got to solve it, because there's no purpose in sampling anyone or inviting them to a class or having them enroll or having them host or linking arms and doing the business with you if you're not having a solution for them that makes their life easier. All right. Now, moving on to how we do this. This is the fun part, you guys. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so you sit next to someone on a plane and they're like, and you're living in your diamond energy. I'm sure you can see it. You can see yourself just, reading this awesome book or just looking very interesting. And someone wants to talk to you because you look so happy and you're not mean and you don't put off like negativity. You're just like beautiful, bright, driven, wonderful woman. And this person next to you leans over and they're like, hi, so are you going to DC? And you're like, yeah, I am going to DC. And they're like, oh, do you live there? Yeah, I do live there, actually. I'm just going home. And they go, oh, from what? Were you on vacation in Texas? No, I was actually teaching a workshop. A workshop? What kind of workshop? Okay, now here's my opportunity. I say, actually, it was on nutrition and health and wellness. And they go, oh, really? Well, what do you do? How many of you totally avoid this question and don't even mention that you sell essential oils? Do you just like turn and walk the other way? Or do you go, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I can share with you what I do. Okay, so this is what I do. I have a pitch. It's like a little spiel. And you can copy mine totally, or you can come up with one on your own, okay? So mine is, I do the most amazing thing. It is so phenomenal. I get to teach people about health and wellness, nutrition, and essential oils. It's so crazy good because it's safer, it's cheaper, it's effective, and it has changed my life. Do you want to talk to me now? I mean, think about it. Okay, pretend like I'm next to you on a plane and I just said that. Would you be like, this girl's creepy? Or would you be like, oh, that's so interesting. Tell me more about that. Right? Think about where you are in your headspace. If someone came at you like that, would you think that they were insane? Or would you be like, that's inspiring. That's really cool that it's changed your life. Tell me more about that. Okay, do you want me to say it again? I feel like someone was writing it down and they didn't get it all. Yeah or no? Yeah? Okay.
Sure.
So I do the most amazing thing. I am so honored to be able to teach people about essential oils and nutrition and their health and wellness. It's so phenomenal because it's safer, it's cheaper, it's effective, and it has changed my life. Okay. I want you as a little side assignment this week to practice your what do you do in the mirror. If someone were to ask you, what do you do? What would you say? Practice that in the mirror. Okay? Susanna, I don't want you to say that you avoid that.
I'm going to do it.
Yes.
I'm also doing the Tiffany Peterson Mindset Makeover right now.
Awesome.
Yes, it's perfect timing.
She's amazing. She's so incredible. I love her so much. I hired her to be my coach, and it's been really cool.
She is amazing.
She's so great. Okay. Now you've given your spiel on what you do, and they're like, that is so interesting. Now, instead of like continuing to talk about myself, I wait to let them lead the conversation. So if they say something like, that is so interesting, tell me more, then I go into my story. But if they don't say that and they're like, oh, that's really interesting, and then they say like, don't tell me what, they just don't say anything after that, you can then ask them questions. People love to talk about themselves. They love it. That's their favorite thing in life, is to talk about themselves. So if you say something like, well, what do you do? And why are you going to DC? Okay. They get like more loose in their skin. Maybe you can order a couple drinks for them on the plane. I don't know. Just like get them comfortable. I'm kidding. I don't drink. I'm just saying that. But you can get them feeling really comfortable in talking about themselves. And then the conversation always leads back to what you do, because you said that it has changed your life. So in some way, shape, or form, they will say something like, like they might even say what their pain point is. They might like outright come out and say, I do struggle with my food, or, I have serious food sensitivities. Or they might say like, that's really interesting. I've heard of essential oils, but like I buy mine at Whole Foods or something. Like the conversation's always going to lead back, because what you said was inspiring and unique and different, and you were confident, and that intrigued them. That's why they're talking to you in the first place, because you came across as very confident. So now it's time for you to tell your story. Okay. So this is the outline of what your story can look like. And this is also something that I want you to practice this week. It's really, really important that you understand how to talk about your story in a way that is short, right, condensed, and effective. So I'm going to share mine, and I'm not going to go into like the sob story of it all. I'm just going to share very briefly. People always ask like, how'd you get into that? I say, well, that's really a good question. Sorry, my husband's doing the dishes. Is it loud? Sorry if it is. He's such a good husband. I didn't mean to say that mean. I just meant it's loud. Okay. So someone says to me, that's really interesting. How'd you get into that? I like to say, I have 4 kids, but my middle 2, they were born like ridiculously premature. And it was so hard on our family, because I had this 2-year-old at home and I had these babies in the hospital, and we just didn't know if we'd ever bring them home. They weren't well, they weren't progressing. Like life was hard with them. And I remember thinking at that time, like, is there another way? Is there possible things we can do at home to change their life at home? Or do we think that maybe like we just were really concerned and confused about their future? And it led me down a path to look for other ways and look for other solutions. And I remembered my mother-in-law had always shared with me her essential oils, like working for my stomach issues, and like lavender in the tub when my other son was getting ready for bed or something. But I didn't focus so much on what it could do to heal the body until I had my twins. And when they came home, it became obvious that I had to think of another way to care for them. When we moved out to the DC area from Utah, I had to kind of fend for myself and get my own oils instead of taking them from my mother-in-law. And so I learned a little bit more about them and how they could help my family. And that really transformed the way we live, because my sweet boys are now 5.5 and they're thriving. And yeah, they have some residual issues, but their quality of life is completely different than what doctors ever told us they could be, based on the preventative care that we give them every day with these essential oils and different supplements. Okay, so look at that backstory now, or look at the slide now. Kind of break down what I shared. I always try to make it very relatable. I don't want it to come off like a pitch. Okay, so I intend to even, I wouldn't say like mess up on my words, but I intend to be like a little flustered in sharing it, because if it sounds like an elevator pitch and it's perfect every time, then it comes across super quick that you're trying to tell them something. So I try to be super relatable and just be like, yeah, like life was hard and now it's a bit simpler, and like this is what we do and this is how it helps. But also like making sure that they see these 4 things. There was an issue. These are the things we didn't like about our situation. This is how doTERRA came in and saved the day. And this is what our future looks like now, because we have oils. Okay, so those 4 things are standard when it comes to sharing your story. So if you didn't write those down, do it now before I go to the next slide. Anybody want me to stop? Okay. Okay, so mass contacting with samples. This is going to require a little bit of effort on your part to write some stuff down, okay? So mass contacting with samples is really meant for how we focus on that eightfold system, okay? So when you're looking at your eightfold system and underneath the sample column, you have people's names written down there that need to be sampled. And it might be the whole 50, because this week you all, and someone, Jessica, shared 92, right? So you all have a lot of people on your list that you could potentially sample. And what's so great about that is that you already have one column that's full. And maybe you need to move some of those people on that column into the contact column, right? If you don't talk to those people, you know, weekly or every other week, they need to go in the contact column first. Right? You need to move them to the contact column. Once they're in the sample column and you're ready to sample them, there are conversations to be had. There are specific things that you can say to lead them to using the product, okay? And sometimes it's just a matter of getting the right words to make it flow easier for you. I kind of want you to have your pen and paper ready. I'm going to start talking, and then you can jot down some of these tips, okay? So, I'm reading this because I have this written down for myself as well. Hi, let's do Julie. Hi, Julie, how are you? I hope you're doing well. As you may know, I am studying essential oils and natural health right now, and I'm collecting information on how essential oils work. And I was wondering if you would be open to trying some and sharing your experience with me. Would you be up for that? I'll say it one more time. Hey, Julie, how are you? You can even add in there like, how's Jack doing? Or it was so good to see you at church last Sunday. I hope you're doing well. As you may know, I am studying about essential oils and natural health right now. And I'm collecting information on how essential oils work. And I wondered if you would be open to trying some and sharing your experience with me. Would you be up for that? So this is a full-on like cold sample. Cold sample, totally cold, okay? So this is you just sharing that you have this new passion or this new thing and you've been studying this. Maybe they even know, maybe they've seen a post on Instagram or on Facebook, and now you're reaching out to them looking for feedback, their honest feedback. I'm actually doing that this week with 3 men from the gym. They're like in their 50s. And I am sampling the Lifelong Vitality for a week. And I want their honest opinion. I want to hear, like, tell me everything. How did it go? I'm doing the Lifelong Vitality Pack and the probiotic for them for 7 days. And everyone says yes when you go at it this way because they want to give you their honest feedback too. They're going to give it to you. Like, don't be afraid. Like, some people are going to say, like, oh, it didn't do anything, right? And you... For me, I kind of like a no. People that work with me know that I'm kind of weird like that, but it just is like a challenge for me. But a lot of times people that use the product, as you know, find a lot of success from it. And so this is a super effective way to sample someone. So someone's going to say, sure. What would you say? If they say yes, what would you sample them? This is the question you have to ask. Great. What are your health concerns right now? Or what would you like to tackle most right now? Okay. Perfect. And then, hey, what else? Because the more pain points you get, the easier it's going to be to follow up sample if the first one didn't work as great as they wanted it to. Right? Go with the one that's going to pack the most punch right in the beginning. So if they have aches and pains, give them Deep Blue. If they can't sleep, try the Serenity soft gels and the Serenity oil. Like, make sure you give them something that's going to pack a big punch. So what are your health concerns right now? Or what do you want to tackle right now? What's most important to get rid of right now? And then what else? What else? Okay, well, I'm tired all the time, or I have headaches, or my kid never sleeps. Okay, so just find out what else. What are some more pain points? Perfect. Next, you're going to drop off samples to them. On the phone or while you're texting, you're not going to teach them how to use oils over the phone or while you're texting. Okay, when you're offering a sample, you got to either drop it off in person, or when you send the sample, you can say to them, let's connect over Zoom, so when you get the sample in the mail, I can show you exactly how to use it, right? Because you want to model for them the best way to use the oils. You can't just send a sample to someone and expect them to know what the heck to do with it. You can't just drop off oils to your neighbor and be like, oh, so this is going to help you fall asleep. Like, they're going to look at it and be like, well, what do I do with this? So make sure you're really thorough and try to remember when you first started using oils, how much education it was required for you. So this is a Serenity roller ball. You're going to rub this on the bottoms of your feet or your bottom of your child's feet before bedtime. Massage it in. The more you massage it into the tissues, the deeper the oils sink into the skin, right? So they need to know these things, okay? Great. Now, you're going to say to them, in 2 days, or however many days you feel like would be a generous amount of time for them to have experienced the oils. I try to say 2 days. So I say, in 48 hours, I'm going to check in with you and see how it's going. Okay. So 2 days later, in a text, hey, Julie, how is your Serenity going? How is your experience? And then they're going to say something fancy. And you're going to say, great. Now here's the key. Are you open to learning more? How was your experience with the Serenity? Awesome. I'm so glad it worked for you. Because most people are going to be like, oh my gosh, it's the first time I had sleep in forever. Or if it didn't work, go back to the dialogue we said at the beginning of this call, which is that essential oils work differently on everybody. I have some other ones I'd love to let you try out. And I would love your honest feedback with those as well. Okay? But if they had success this time, you're going to say, great. Are you open to learning more? And they're going to say yes. Okay, we're going to always live in that place of positivity. They're going to say yes. Wonderful. I have a class coming up on Thursday and Sunday at such and such time. Let me know which time works best for you. Okay, so this is all over text. And if she says, you know what, none of those work out, you're going to say, okay, we can set up a one-on-one, which is either over the phone or in person at a time that was most convenient for you. Okay, so you're not hounding them. You don't want it to seem like you're chasing them. You want to give them first 2 options. And then if neither of those work, you're going to say, okay, that's totally fine. I have 4 open one-on-one appointments this week. Let me know which one of these works best for you. So giving them options, but also letting them know that your time is valuable and you're not just going to open your entire calendar to someone because you're desperate, right? You want it to be, you're offering this gift. You're not like grasping at straws. Okay. Okay. Awesome. I think we covered that cold sampling. Okay. What to do when someone in your life voices their pain point. So this is people in like a warm setting. So the other one was cold, like, hey, I'm studying about essential oils. Would you try them? Give me your honest feedback. This one is good. This is like most of the time, I feel like. You hear people at work, you hear people at a dinner party, wherever they are, voicing a pain. I mean, it happens all the time. In fact, I think I have this weird thing in my ear when I hear a sniffle or something, I go, oh, they should, I'm sure we all do. We diagnose people all the time. They should be on Breathe and lemon over the nose. Like we start like thinking of all the ways that oils can help them, but we can't just go over and start rubbing oils on them. That's not how it works. And if you build your business that way, I'm telling you, you're going to get a lot of pushback and the growth is going to be slow. So if you would like a long-term career in doTERRA, make sure you go at it from a really organic place. And that is by empathizing. The very moment somebody shares their pain point with you, in your mind, you're thinking, empathize. Lena says empathize. I'm going to empathize. Okay. What does that mean? What do we say when someone says, my kid has been up all night long and I slept like 2.5 hours last night? What's your response? I want someone to give it to me straight. What would you say? I'm calling on you, Jessica. I have been up all night, Jessica.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm so
I
tired.
am so sorry. I know exactly what that's like. My little guy's not sleeping either, but you know what we did try?
Okay, good. I like that. Okay, so you're having this conversation with someone and they voice their pain point and you want to empathize as much as possible. So you want to say like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry you have to go through that. That is no fun. Those newborn stages are rough. And I totally get it. I've been there and it's not easy. Okay, so you empathize. Next, here's the money question. So tell me what you've done. Well, I'll say this. This isn't the money question. The money question's next. This is like a transition question. Have you tried anything to help with his sleep issues, right? So they might say like, oh, I've tried the Cry It Out, or I've tried they name off some book that they're using. Or, I got this noisemaker for their room. Or we give them a bath and we rub them down with lotion before bedtime, right? You can ask like, what are some of the routines that you do before bed, right? Just something really natural and organic. And they say, yeah, I've done this, this, and this, but it's just not working. Now is the money question. Are you open to natural healthcare? Have you thought about that? Well, I'm open to anything. I just want sleep, right? Well, have you heard of essential oils? That's your next question. Are you open to natural healthcare, and have you heard of essential oils? And most likely someone's going to say, yes, I have heard of essential oils. And you're going to say, I know there are so many out there. I use these ones from doTERRA. I don't know if you've heard of them. But when we had issues, when our babies were small, we just rubbed the oils on them, on their feet and down their spine. Sometimes we even put them in the tub. And honestly, and this is a true story, every single one of my kids sleeps 12 hours a night. And they have since like they were very small. And it hasn't been forceful and it hasn't been hard. I might not say that because I don't want her to feel bad, but I'm just being honest with you guys that like you could share your success story. You can share how things were difficult, but you rubbed the oils on and it provided this solution. Okay. You're basically laying out there for her a way to provide a solution to this fill in the blank. It could be sleep. It could be eczema. It could be whatever. Okay. And now that we're past the share a success story, now you got to come in with a specific product. Okay. Would you be open to trying this blend called Serenity? We call it the restful blend for your son's sleep. Okay. So this is a blank blank. Would you be open to try blank for your blank? Okay. So would you be open to trying Serenity, the restful blend for your son so he can sleep better? Okay. And she's going to be like, hell yeah, I need some sleep, man. Okay, perfect. Let's arrange a time and I can drop it off to you. And she's like, no, because everybody says that. They're like, no, I don't want you to go in any trouble. And you would say, I hope you would say this, like, it's no trouble at all. I am so happy to help another mom relieve some of her XYZ, right? Fill in the blank. To help her sleep, to help her child. I'd be so happy to. Are you kidding? Let me do this for you. And she's going to say yes with open arms. Okay, so that's how you move from what to do when someone in your life voices their pain point and how to get a sample into their home. Now, they got the sample. Let's see if you learned anything from the beginning of the call. What do? You've sampled them. May they now go into which column?
Invite.
Yes. Okay, good. We're going to invite. So 2 days later, in 48 hours, you've texted and you said, how is Jack sleeping? What was your experience like with the Serenity? And she's going to be like, dang, it's so good, girl. You're amazing. You're like a lifesaver. Oh my gosh. Okay. Here's the thing, Julie. I am having a class coming up and I wanted to know, are you open to learning more about essential oils? Right? It's always that open question. Are you open? Not the are you willing? Because willing sounds like you're desperate. Are you open? Are you open to learning more about essential oils and how they've helped me in many other areas of my life? Awesome. Okay, perfect. Now schedule her to come to a class or do the one-on-one. We good? Okay, Next. We're almost done. This is for somebody who has been sampled. They didn't get to come to the class. They've kind of bailed on you a little bit with the one-on-one. This is down the line a little bit, okay? But you haven't forgotten about them. You haven't forgotten about your friend's digestive issues that she sampled DigestZen with and never got back to you, right? You haven't forgotten. So samples received, now what? Okay. Hi, Julie. I haven't talked to you in so long. I wanted to let you know that I'm actually having a class this week where we're going to be covering exactly what to do with digestive health issues for our kids. And since the topic is focused on digestive health, I wanted to reach out to you so that you knew this was something we were going to be covering in the class. And I know that you've suffered so much with Jack and his digestive health that I thought this would be of interest to you. So let me know if this is a good time for you to come, and I look forward to seeing you. Okay, so that's really heartfelt response. That's really targeted toward that specific person. And yes, you're going to be talking about Essential Oils 101. We always teach an Essential Oil 101 class, unless it's a make and take. But the only reason you're emphasizing digestive health in that class a little bit more is because she's there, right? If you know someone has a pain point before you walk in the room, that's money. That's your ticket to win. So you have to make sure that you're focusing heavily on those areas where you know they have a pain point. Capito? Okay, good. Last but not least, what's another word for remind? Because the word remind bugs me. It's like, hey, I wanted to remind you of the class tomorrow. That sounds like a task, and I don't want to go because I don't want people to tell me what to do. So you're following up with someone before the class, and it's, 2 days out, and you're like, hey, I just wanted to remind you. Immediately my skin starts to crawl and I back into a corner and I'm like, I don't want to go. Stop. Okay. But what if you said, I'm so excited to see you. I have prepared some really great information about digestive health and I can't wait for you to hear it. I'm so excited to see you. I've prepared some really great information about digestive health and I cannot wait for you to hear it. She's going to be like, damn straight, I'm coming. I need help. Sorry, my language tonight. All right. That's it, y'all. You can unmute yourselves. Tell me what questions you have. Did that help? Was it?
That's amazing. I wish I could learn from you all the time.
Oh my gosh, you're so funny.
Lena, I have a question.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Wait.
No, you're
How are you sampling the LLV and the probiotics? You just put them in little bags.
I went to the dollar store and I bought little pill organizers for $1.
I love it.
Yeah, so they just get, and I got blue ones for the guys, I got pink ones for the girls, and I just got a bunch of them, and I keep them upstairs in a bin, and anytime I sample the LLV, I just fill the little thing with a week's supply.
Nice.
The dollar store is the best, you guys. I mean, it's the worst too, but it's the best for some things. Any other questions about sampling and biting, the eightfold system?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
When so when you say you go back to the sampling someone a second time or however many times, do you move them back into the column on your spreadsheet and move them back and forth between invites?
But can you repeat yourself? I couldn't hear. I'm sorry. Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Sometimes I glitch out really bad on Zoom anyway.
No, you're good.
Okay. When you're sampling people more than once, you have to give them a second sample or a third sample, do you move them back into the sample column?
Only if they haven't been to a class.
Okay.
So if they've been to a class or they've had a one-on-one, they're going to stay in the enroll column.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. They just need another oil experience.
I've never really utilized sampling, and I'm excited to do it because I
Yeah?
feel like this is such a good way to open the doors for everybody. I'm
Yeah, you
excited.
know what? I feel like doTERRA has laid it out so well with this, Healthy Can Be Simple guide. You guys
Do you give that guide to every single person you sample?
Yeah. So I give this to every single person I sample because it totally, people like look at it. I'm telling you, it leads to curiosity because you'd say to them, okay, now you can check out this book to learn a little bit more about essential oils. They've got this sample, this one sample, right? We don't give, hardly ever do I give more than one sample in the beginning because then it's just, they're just taking the oils and having fun and they don't need to buy anything. But if I'm giving them just like one little 5 ml roller ball of Digestin and they have this little teaser of what the oils can do, and then they open this up and they're like, oh my gosh, oils can do everything, right? Then it's kind of exciting. It keeps them curious.
Now, at what point would you, I guess, stop sampling someone?
So they only get the initial sample. Okay, that's it. And then they come to a class, they get invited, they come one-on-one, whatever. And let's say they didn't enroll at the class. They get a second oil experience.
Okay.
And that's it.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a limit of how many times you think you message someone before, like if they're not responding to you? Because sometimes I'll have someone who was super interested at one point, and then like I'm inviting them and talking to them, and it's a one-way conversation, and then I just kind of like, okay, I don't want to just be awkward, and so
Yeah. No limit. No, because here's what's awesome too is that I have these like templates of text when I'm inviting too. And sometimes I forget, but most of the time if they said like, yes, I want to go to a class, like I met them at a booth, at a big booth yesterday. And I have all these names now from these people that I met at the booth. And so anyone that said they were interested in coming to a class, which I call workshops because that sounds more exciting, I'm going to put them down on my email list and then make sure they go into my text, like class invite group. I don't do it so it's like a group text. Don't misunderstand. I'm saying they go into like a category on my phone so that I know I need to invite them to a class, right? So if you're looking up alphabetically on my phone, I can type in like invite and it's going to bring up all the people I need to invite to a class alphabetically. So it's kind of like a little side trick. And I go in and I individually send that same text to everyone, but obviously I try to individualize it too. Like if it's, like I said, men's health or whatever, then I'm going to focus on that in the text. But every time I invite them to a class, if I don't hear back, I still invite them to the next class. Because they said in the beginning they wanted to come, and so I'm going to keep inviting them until they say no.
Okay.
So, because then when I invite them to a workshop or to a class, I'm not inviting them to buy oils. I'm inviting them to learn, so they're getting value from that experience. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know. Is that weird?
No.
Okay, good. I'm probably super weird, but it's okay. What else? What other questions do you guys have? Is that Danielle in the car? You're so cute. It's daylight. It's crazy. I know we went a little over today. Next Sunday, we're going to be talking about how to teach a class and how to do a close, and it's going to be awesome. So make sure you don't miss it. I am going to go live sometime this week. Jenna wants me to share my close, but we're going to talk about it more next week on our call, Sunday night. Does that work for everyone?
Yeah, Sundays are great.
Perfect. You guys are awesome. I feel like I just want to give you all a hug or something. Just pretend. It's like a little virtual hug. And let's keep the conversation going on Voxer too. So if you had more questions on here and you didn't ask it, totally use that space. I'm giving you like my free coaching for however long, and I just want you guys to take advantage. So I'm here always and forever.
Yay.
Love you all. Bye. Bye, Susan.